Hello, welcome back. Mike from Canavan Wealth. It is almost September. This is the video format of my monthly note that I send out in email format to all my clients. Of course, everyone is welcome to watch. We always start with the markets. Markets up about 0.5% today, but if we look at the month returns, down about 1.3 since the start of the month. Not really a bad month, all things considered. The start of the month we were down, pretty dramatically, and then kind of bounced along the bottom. Although we ended up only being down about 5 or 6% from the previous high, which we can see if we look at the 3 month kind of here. Still down about 1.8 from that. I really consider this more of a reconsolidation of the market. Now, if we do head down more, that also wouldn't surprise me. Year to date, still showing in the high teens, 17.1, 17.5 in terms of returns. So market still continuing to do very well, obviously, because we're coming out of the market, real nasty market downturn last year. When we look at CPI, so inflation actually ticked up a tiny bit this month from 3 to 3.2. But remember, previous month, it was down dramatically down to 3. So, and to be perfectly honest, if inflation levels off in the 3% range, then I think the Fed's going to be really happy with that. Core did go down again from 5 to 4.7s. And a lot of that's, being driven around energy and things along those lines, kind of the big drivers of inflation. But we're getting pretty close to, kind of what the Fed is getting close to. And, we kind of expect out of them possibly one more raise and then most likely pauses. What I really want to talk about is just, this is kind of popping up in a number of different places around doomsdayers, and I don't see Michael Burry as a doomsdayer. Michael Burry is famously attributed with The Big Short from the 2008 global financial crisis. The movie The Big Short is about him. They often show the actor from that movie, not the actual Michael Burry, but he it kind of made a bet against the economy. A number of other economists that made a bet, and they often throw big numbers with often news articles or whatnot, 50 million, whatever, some big number that they're betting against the economy. And often when you look into it, that bet is actually not a large percentage of their book. Rarely are, you talk to an investor and they think that there's some doomsday coming. And you're like, oh, so you must have all your investments in cash. And they're like, oh, well, we don't. Very rarely do they even bet on their own predictions. But I think the bigger thing to understand here is that doomsayers are always right eventually. The next big crash is coming. Whether it's going to be next week, 2 years from now, or 20 years from now, no one can predict. And when that crash comes, just like it did in 2008, there will be people who at that time were doomsdaying and betting against the economy, and they will look like geniuses. They'll tell us how stupid they are. They'll put out all the opinion articles they wrote trying to warn people that this was coming. And they'll write books. They'll get touted as geniuses. And what you don't read about is the several years before that they and other doomsayers were saying the exact same things, betting against it, talking about the debt, talking about consumer debt and all of these things, and pointing to the fact that this downturn was coming, and they were wrong year after year after year, and they lost their shirts on it. We don't ever hear about those because it's not newsworthy. In terms of like news articles that are trying to sell you on some economic doomsday, just ask yourself, if I'm perusing YouTube, if I'm reading a newspaper, what am I more likely to read? A news article that's titled "Economy Doing Fine, Looking Pretty Normal," or "Recession Incoming, Warning, Warning, Warning," right? It is human nature to fear, the unknown and a decline than it is to, think that everything's normal. And it certainly does not sell newspapers. So just be very cautious around, the doomsdayers. They seem to be a little bit more louder than they have been over recent years, but not too bad. We are nearing the end of the year here, so we'll be doing required minimum distributions, RMDs. That's, the money you're required to take out of your IRA if you are now 73 or older. So that age did change very recently. If you've been dealing with it for years, there's nothing different about this year than previous years. But if you are turning 73 this year, then we'll be getting all of that set up for you. And we'll go through that all typically in kind of October, November, but I start looking at it now for various clients. In terms of me, my kids are both off to college, so I'm officially an empty nester now. Right now, it still just kind of seems like they're at summer camp, and maybe they'll be back this weekend or something. But I don't think it's really fully set in that they like live somewhere else now. So I'll tell you in a couple of months how what it's really been like. That's really it. As always, reach out to me anytime, Mike at canavanwealth.com. My clients obviously have my office phone and give me a call. Otherwise, I hope this has been informative. I will talk to you soon. Thank you.